statements about Kandahar inscription. The inscription was inscribed in 2 languages, that is different scripts and languages. These are Greek and Aramaic, not Prakrit. Therefore, first statement is incorrect. And second statement is talking about it was inscribed on the orders of Ashoka, not Kanishka. Therefore, second statement is also incorrect. It is also given in this NCERT standard reference book, and we have posted this picture here. Here it is inscribed on the ruler name Ashoka, and next one is about Greek, Aramaic. These were the languages and scripts as well. And next coming to Ashokan inscription and which they are located, that are states. Sannati, Sopara, Manshera, Shishpalgarh. Please go through these locations where, and also NCERT pictures which are given in pictographic representation here itself, they are directly taken from NCERT, are very, very important, because several times UPSC has asked these types of questions only. Directly they have taken these places from NCERT maps, they are given in. Here Manshera, Shahbazgarh. Therefore, Manshera is located in the present day POK, and Kandahar, as you know, this is part of this northwest province. And coming to this Sopara and Sannati, southern part of India, not at all located in these regions, that is Jharkhand, and completely wrong. And Sannati is not located there, already I have displayed you. And Shishpalgarh, it is located in the Odisha, exactly above this Jawgada place in the Odisha part, and that is true statement. Only one pair is correct, and please go through these other pairs also, major rock edits and minor rock edits and pillar inscriptions. Here it is displayed. The blue color is locating the minor rock edits, and red color is about major rock edits. Major rock edits are located in different parts. Here Sopara and Sannati, please go through these places in the western part of India, and Girnar in the Kathiawar Peninsula, and Jawgada, Shishpalgarh in the Odisha Kalinga part, and next Kalsi, this is definitely northern part of India in the Gangetic plain, and again Manshera and Shahbazgarh in the present day POK, and Kandahar. These are the major rock edits which are displayed here. Next coming to, consider the following statements with regard to the coins used by Greek rulers. Coins used by Greek rulers. Here Indo-Greeks were the first to use gold coins in India, and Indo-Greeks were the first rulers in India to use or to issue coins which can definitely be attributed to the kings. Yes, definitely they were attributed to the kings, and they were the first rulers who issued those coins that were attributed to the kings. That was true statement, absolutely. And Indo-Greeks were the first to use such gold coin. Here, who are those Indo-Greeks? I think you might have known that Bactrians, Parthians, Scythians, right? So Yavana-Priya, Yavana-Racha, these terms that you have listed, and Demetrius and Apollodotus, those were the kings who were initial days occupied. And at the same time Alexander, who under this Alexander regime, Seleucus Nicator, who had a marital ties with Chandragupta Maurya times, and these were very important. So they, and with those from those areas also UPSC has asked several questions related to it. Here Indo-Greeks were the first rulers who issued these gold coins, that is true, and they were the first to issue these coins which were attributing to the kings. Okay, and especially during this time, which increased in number, Kushana time, it also increased such kind of attribution to the king. Next, coming to this fourth statement, fourth question it seems. Next, which of the following statements with respect to Rudradaman I is correct? He is also a foreigner who came here and settled and established a kingdom. He is very famous, and he issued the first ever long inscription, chaste Sanskrit. He was very much interested in Sanskrit literature, and that first statement is correct. And he ruled over parts of Gujarat, Konkan, Narmada Valley, and also Kathiawar. Yes, that is true, that not only in the Gujarat and Kathiawar Peninsula part, he extended his kingdom towards Malwa as well, and Narmada Valley region, Konkan part. And he was defeated by Vashishti. No, he was not defeated. He actually defeated this Vashishti Putra Satakarni of Satavahana dynasty. Therefore, the third statement is incorrect, and first two statements are correct in this question. The fourth question. Here, although Shekas established, it is clearly telling you in the original standard reference book. Here, although Shekas established, they rule in different parts of the country, who rule in western, but mostly they confine to western part of India, power of any considerate length of time. And also the Sheka ruler, the famous king Rudradaman I, between 130 to 150 AD. He ruled not only over Sindh, but also he extended his kingdom up to Malwa and Konkan region and Gujarat Kathiawar Peninsula. And he was very famous in the history because he repaired Sudarshan Thatak. This was named as Sudarshan Lake. He undertook to improve this Sudarshan Lake, in semi-arid zone of this irrigation land. Okay, and next thing is Rudradhaman was a great lover of Sanskrit. It is also very important. However, he might have come from this Indo-Greek one, because he came from this western part, Eurasian part. However, he was very much interested and keen to this Sanskrit literature. Although a foreigner settled in India, he issued the first ever long inscription in chaste Sanskrit. All the earlier long inscriptions we have in this country were composed in actually Prakrit. The foreigner had shown more interest in Sanskrit. During that time, Prakrit was much popular because of the emergence of Buddhism, and popular literature emerged out of it. And which of the following stupas has a carved panel showing Ajatashatru's visit supported by a Prakrit inscription to the Buddha? Here, Bharhut Stupa it is talking about. Here, what is the Bharhut Stupa? Bharhut Stupa has shown such depiction that a relief panel on one of the railing pillars of the western gateway of this Bharhut Stupa originally stood at central Indian Buddhist site of Bharhut. It is talking about there was a royal patronage that is related to Ajatashatru, who patronized these Buddhist centers, and relics of the Buddha, many stupas were built by him, and first Buddhist council was also held by him. Okay, that is also important. Was an important source of prestige for this ancient religious sects was the being patronized by the kings. That is actually the important reputation. Those religious sects which were patronized by the kings became very popular during those times. In this context, Ajatashatru, who visited Buddha and also expressed his grief because of his patricide, means he killed his own father. Therefore, he expressed his remorse. That is also very important. And Ajatashatru, such visit was depicted in Bharhut Stupa. That is also very important. Okay, Bharhut Stupa. Next, coming to the question. This is given in UPSC SCRA examination. It is recently merged in a different form of other exams. In the UPSC, this kind of answer is available, where Ajatashatru met Buddha. That kind of discussion was there and happened. Next, which among the following are included in the Dhamma issued by Ashoka in his inscription? Which among the following are included in Dhamma issued by Ashoka in inscription, because it is a descriptive oriented question. However, there may be possibility of the statements given in this description in the form of MCQs as well, because the principles associated with Buddhism and the practices of Jainism, Buddhism, comparative studies, which may be having a potential of mains questions, several times asked in prelims as well. Therefore, this interlinking of prelims and mains also important, where similar themes are appearing you. Here, generosity towards Brahmanas, this was also one such philosophy of the Dhamma. And next, respect for religions and tradition other than one's own one, that is yes, religious tolerance also very important. Okay. Next, respect to this under this Dhamma philosophy, respect towards elders and treating slaves and servants kindly, this is also important. And one more thing, he also encouraged donations to the Brahmins and monks, and Ashoka was the first ruler who inscribed such a message, and he dictated certain dictums and means certain rules and regulations and code of conduct to the citizens. He did not accommodate any religious moksha philosophy or salvation things. He only emphasized on materialistic way of life, how it should be led, how a good citizen should behave. That was most emphasizing element of this ethical code of conduct, which was inscribed in the inscriptions for the first time by the Ashokan. That is also very important. So, subject and official stone surfaces, natural rocks, the polished pillars, everything was used to spread such message. This included respect towards elders, generosity towards Brahmanas and monks, and who renounced worldly life, that means sainthood, who adopted such life, and sattvic Jivan, that is named as. Okay. And treating slaves and servants kindly, respect for religions and tradition other than one's, religious tolerance was also inscribed in these inscriptions under this Dhamma philosophy, and Dhamma Mahamatas were also appointed by Ashoka to propagate these values, that is also important. Next, which of the following statements with regard to, are you fine, because I am focusing on camera, because okay, fine. Next, which of the following statements with regard to stupa is correct? The tradition of erecting stupa is pre-Buddhist. The tradition of erecting stupa is pre-Buddhist. Is it true? Yes, because it is true. Pre-Buddhist times also we had stupas. However, we witnessed more number of stupas after the demise of the Buddha. Next, according to a Jain text known as Ashokavadana, Ashoka distributed portions of the Buddha's relics to every important town and ordered the construction of stupa over them. Here the first statement is the correct one, because here it is not Jain text, it is Ashokavadana, a Buddhist text. Ashoka distributed portions of the Buddha's relics to every important town and ordered the construction of stupa over them. The second statement only has to replace this Jain term with the Buddha term. Here with reference to Barabar caves, consider the following statements. We find Barabar caves. Yes, you corrected it, right? I know. Here they were built during the Mauryan Empire. They were dedicated to Ajivakas. Why? Because Ajivaka was one such unorthodox sect. Unorthodox sects, you have known that these were related to Vedic scriptures, literature. And as part of this unorthodox texts, mostly based on the philosophy of the Vedantas, and they were immersed, these Buddhism, Jainism, all are part of unorthodox texts, and Shatdarsanas, which were also based on this Vedantic philosophy. And at the end of the Vedas, you contain these Upanishads, right? And based on these Upanishads, we had Shatdarsanas, Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Mimamsa, right? And these Shatdarsanas also coming under this unorthodox sects. Apart from Buddhism, Jainism, Ajivaka, Lokayata, and Charvaka, Lokayata, both are more or less similar. Okay, and coming to this part, that unorthodox sects which had earlier Ajivakas were patronized and they were given certain relief measure. They were coming under patronization of the king Gupta, Maurya times also. That is very important. Okay, they were allocated few caves, especially it was by the king named, it seems, Bindusara times also, and before Bindusara, Chandragupta Maurya, who also accommodated them. That is also very important, this Ajivaka sect. Please remember this, because UPSC had asked several questions related to these unorthodox sects which are based on this Upanishadic philosophy, that is Sankhya, Shatdarsanas and Buddhism, Jainism, as you know that. And next thing is Ajivaka, Lokayata, that is also important. These ancient religious philosophies which were patronized by kings had certain prominence, are also important. And Siddhas were also asked. Siddhas, they were actually related to this kind of another meditational aspect, and they had no differences in the society, and gender disparity was eliminated, and there was absolute equality promoted by them. The Siddhakaras was also asked by UPSC in 2017, it seems. Kindly go through these MCQs several times, okay? Because I have to tell you where highlighted things, where you can locate these highlighted things. This is very important, and we are very soon we are going to release 40 years of UPSC previous year questions with complete answers, including pictographic representations from where they are taken, and at the same time these questions are micro level segregated, and they are segregated in the micro level based on the syllabus. From IVC, how many number of questions that you have got, and Rigvedic times, how many number of questions you have got. Likewise, micro level segregation of 40 years of UPSC PYQs were done, and it is going to be released as a book in the form of book very soon, within a month. Next, of these were constructed in the 3rd century BCE on the orders of Ashoka for renouncers who belonged to the Ajivaka sect. Okay, here 3rd century BC on the orders of Ashoka for renouncers who belonged to the Ajivaka sect. Therefore, not only he patronized Buddhism, but also he showed immense tolerance about the Brahmins and Ajivakas, other unorthodox sects. Here orthodox and unorthodox, no difference was shown by Ashoka, but prominently he was attributed to Buddhism most of the times, because he appointed Dhamma Mahamatas, and Dhamma philosophy was also inspired by Buddhist philosophy mostly. Next, Nishka and Shatamana mentioned in the Vedic text refers to mostly coins. Here yesterday also we have talked about Nishka. Trade was facilitated by use of money, and the terms Nishka and Shatamana in Vedic texts are taken to the names to the coin, but coins actually found are not earlier than 6th century BC. They were mostly in Vedic times. Next, coming to Madura, and this is match the following related question. Madura, Kaushambi, Ujjain. Ujjain is capital city of Avanti, that is very important, and it was one of the rivalries of this very valor king, that is kingdom, that is Magadha, and Ujjain. And next, Kaushambi, and this is actually Kaushambi is located in river Yamuna, so this is incorrectly matched. Only 1 and 3 are correctly matched. Okay. Madura, Yamuna, that is right. Next, consider the following statements. Mahajanapada. Here, Magadha, Kosala, Avanti, Vatsa, and the kings associated with it. It is also very important that I have told you the kings who were rival forces against each other during Mahajanapada time. However, Magadha had emerged as one such prominent power during that time. Here, Magadha's most serious rival was Avanti, which had capital city of Ujjain. And one more thing, Pradyota Mahasena, that is Chanda Pradyota Mahasena, he is named, fought Bimbisara, who was a great king of the Magadha. So, Pradyota Mahasena fought against Bimbisara, that means the king of Avanti, which had capital city of Ujjain, fought against Magadha ruler Bimbisara. Next, but ultimately they came together and united, that is also very important. They became very wise, and finally when he became ill, that is Pradyota Mahasena, after he became ill, he was assisted by a physician who was sent by Bimbisara. So, that story is also very important to recollect the information and retaining it for long lasting. That is also important to understanding the history in the form of stories and the interlinking of various names and the places. And map oriented imagination is also very important to understand various names, to retain information related to dates and the chronological events happened throughout the history. This is a trick that you need to adapt yourself, that interlinking of information and the story based narrations that are available in the story books of NCERTs, which are given in tabular charts and pictographic representation. Next, one more thing, Vatsha, south of this Ganga it is located, Vatsha, and it is also named as Vamsa, Vamsa. It is mentioned in the Upendra Singh book, that is why we have taken this, and this information is not available in this conventional reference books, that is why we have taken these references. And this Vamsha or Vatsha, located south of this Ganga, was noted for its fine cotton textile. Please recall it, fine cotton textile. So, this Vatsha is noted for cotton textiles, and its capital was Kaushambi. Its capital was Kaushambi, identified with Kosam village, exactly on the right banks of Yamuna. Here Kaushambi, it is on the right banks of the Yamuna. Here, this is a capital city of Vatsha kingdom, located south of the Ganga, and this capital city is beside the main right bank of this Yamuna, which is a tributary of Ganga, largest tributary of Ganga. And legends recount the rivalry between the kings Udayan of Vatsa and Pradyota of Avanti. Udayan of Vatsa and Pradyota of Avanti. They were also rival kingdoms. So, you have to remember Udayan belongs to Vatsa, and Pradyota, already you know that he belongs to Avanti, he belonged to Avanti, and he fought against great Magadha king Bimbisara. That is also very important, and refers to love affair and marriage between Udaya Vasavadatta. This is also important, that there were many literature, Sanskrit, there were many literary texts emerged out of this Udayan love affair between Udayan and Vasavadatta. This was named Swapna Vasavadatta, and Harsha, who was named as great king, also wrote books regarding his love relation, marital relation and love affairs, right? This Udayana king, about this Udayana king, Harsha also wrote various books and literary texts. They were named Priyadarshi and Priyadarshi and Ratnavali and Priyadarshi. These were the books, literary texts written by Harsha about Udayana of Vatsa kingdom. That is also very important. Therefore, Udayana was very famous, and he was a rival king, means he was fighting against the Avanti king, which was also one of the prominent kingdoms during this Shodasa Mahajanapada time. Okay. And one more thing, Udayana also seems to have entered into marital relationships, matrimonial alliances with the ruling families of Anga and Magadha. So, Swapna Vasavadatta of Basa, who was a Sanskrit poet who wrote this Swapna Vasavadatta, which emphasized more about his romantic heroism, that is Udayana's romantic heroism. That is why Udayana was one such very important prominent personality. I have been reiterating several times, because UPSC has asking various grey areas in which prominent personalities are not taken. Few less prominent but had to be prominent one have been picked up recently in the UPSC 23 and 22 years of UPSC prelims questions, if you observe. Therefore, these names are very important, Udayana and Prasenajit. Prasenajit also very important. He was also a king of Kosala. He was admirer of Buddha, he followed, and hit upon the idea of marrying into Shakya clan. Because of his huge admiration towards Buddha, he intended to marry only Shakya clan of a girl, Shakya clan, a girl related to Shakya clan. Therefore, he married that princess, okay. And next, there were one more thing, Mahanaman by slave woman, one more thing, that is he was a great king. This Shakya clan was very fearful to send their girl to the Shakya, this person, that is Prasenajit. Therefore, this was a story talking about they have sent a slave woman to get married to this king, that is Prasenajit. This was a story related to it. This kind of story orientation is very important to remember and recall it for long lasting. That is why I have been telling you. Next one thing is about, consider the following statement, that is Greek ruler Darius penetrated into northwest India around 516 BC. You have to remember these Indo-Greek rulers in chronological order. This was also asked by us in the 30th question. By that time I will be explaining you. And coming to this one, Greek ruler Darius penetrated into northwest India around 516 BC, and Behistun inscription of the Achaemenian emperor Darius indicates that Gandhara was conquered by Achaemenids in the later part of the 6th century BC. It is wrong statement, it seems. Elements of Iranian influence can be traced in the preamble of Ashoka's edicts. That is fine. This Achaemenian influence was fine. This Darius penetrated into northwest India in 516 BC was right statement, and he annexed Punjab and west of this Indus and Sindhu. This area constituted around 28 provinces. Okay, 28th, this was named as 28th province or satrapy. Satrapy means a province. So, out of his Iranian empire's 28 provinces, this was one such province. And next, coming to the Sindh, the northwest frontier and the part of Punjab that lay to the west of this Indus was also occupied by this Iranian empire. They were named as Achaemenian empire. They had profound influence on Ashokan edicts as well. And one more thing, accounted 1/3 of the total revenue of Iran from its Asian provinces. Actually, Iran came here to loot lot of money actually produced in this region, because this was having ancient civilizations and a place for agricultural cultivation, land resources, right? Abundant resources are available. Next thing is the Indian subjects were enrolled in the Iranian army, and Darius employed many Indians also against these other Greek rivalries. Next, the monuments of Ashoka's time, especially these bell-shaped capitals, and owed something to Iranian models. Yes, I had told you that these Ashokan edicts had a profound influence of these Achaemenian pillar inscriptions. They have this bell-shaped capital, means the bull which is above this pillar, the bell-shaped, is also influenced by these Achaemenian pillar inscriptions. Owed something to these Iranian models. This is given in the old NCERT. Next, Iranian influence may also be traced in the preamble of Ashokan edicts. That is also important. And Ashokan scribe used the term lipi. Here, Iranian term dipi was used as lipi in the Ashokan inscriptions. Here, next, it seems through the Iranians, the Greek came to know about the great wealth of India. Therefore, they got around 1/3 of their wealth from this Asian province. Out of 28 provinces they had, the occupied province of this one is the was the major contribution to that Iranian empire. And coming to this kingdom of Gandhara comprised modern Peshawar and Rawalpindi districts of Pakistan and Kashmir Valley, as you know that Gandhara. Next, its capital is Takshila, and Behistun inscription, which is Achaemenian emperor Darius related one, indicating that Gandhara was conquered by Persians, not Achaemenians, and Persians in the later part of the 6th century BC. Persians. Okay. Next, the head of the, therefore, the second statement is absolutely incorrect one. Second statement given here is incorrect one. Already. Here, Behistun inscription of Achaemenian emperor, Darius indicates that Gandhara was conquered by Persians in the later part of the 6th century. Next, the head of the district, that is the principal coordinator of the revenue and the officer in charge of general and military functions in his jurisdictions during Mauryan Empire was known as, what is this one? Because here Ahara it seems, Ahara or Aharas, head of district named as Ahara, the principal coordinator of the revenue and the officer in charge of general and military functions in his jurisdictions during Mauryan Empire was known as Rajuka. Simple. Next, consider the following statements. Ashoka's Dhamma ordained that Ashokan Dhamma just instructed people should pay respect to the Brahmanas. Ashoka disapproved rituals, especially those observed by women. Ashoka's teachings were meant to strengthen the institution of family and then existing social classes. Ashoka held that if people behaved well, they would attain nirvana. This is absolutely wrong because his instructions never dealt with such extreme religious philosophy, that is, you will attain nirvana if you follow my dharma like that, dhamma like that. So, this statement is incorrect. Fourth statement. Ashoka appointed Dhamma Mahamatas for propagating this Dhamma among various social groups including women. So, 4 statements are correct. You might have confused with this third statement because institutions of family and the existing social classes were actually meant to be strengthened as per the teachings of the Ashoka. This might have confused you because Ashoka might have definitely opposed the existing social classes which had hierarchical structure, it seems. Therefore, this was not the case with the Ashoka's Dhamma because Ashoka wanted everybody to be generous and tolerant and he wanted the society to be systemic and order. It does not mean he never accept, it did not mean that he would accept this caste differences and the conflicts in the society. Here Ashoka appointed Dhamma Mahamatas for propagating his Dhamma philosophy. He disapproved rituals, especially which were actually practiced by women mostly, and killing of birds, animals were also abandoned as per this Dhamma, and they prohibited this slaughter of animals in the capital. And people should obey that parents that pay respect to the Brahmanas and Buddhist monks and show mercy to slaves and servants. That is also a Dhamma philosophy. His teachings were meant to strengthen the institution of family and the existing social classes given in the old NCRT. Here he held that if the people behave well, they would attain heaven, not moksha. It is about talking about heaven. So he never said that they would attain nirvana. So which was the goal of the Buddhist teachings? Okay. Ashoka actually, why he propagated this heaven concept? Because it was easy for an administrator to convince the general mass. Therefore, to maintain the existing social order, he intended to maintain the existing social order on the basis of tolerance. He does not seem to have preached any sectarian faith. Next, coming to 15th question. Next, chief of the palace, chief collector of revenue, treasurer and superintendent of markets. Which of the following are correct? I mean, have to be matched, and you need to match, but future questions may be which of the following may be correctly matched. No elimination will be given here. Here, Samharta, Sanidhata, most priority as per the Kautilya's Ardhashastra was given to the collection of the revenue. And assessment, market analysis and assessment collection was given highest priority. He was named as Samharta. And Sanidhata was a treasurer who had to store. Okay. So, collection is one part and storing is another part. So, this assessment, collection and storage, these terms were named as Samharta and Sanidhata respectively. And Samharta had to be a chief collector of revenue and Sanidhata had to be a treasurer. This is very important. And next, chief of the palace will be Antarvamshika and Sanstadhyaksha is named to be superintendent. of markets. Here it is very important that Mauryan period constitutes a landmark in the system of taxation in ancient India. Kautilya names many taxes here. From peasants, he had to collect peasants, the king had to collect traders, and required a strong efficient machinery for such collection and assessment. Therefore, the collection and storage have to be given highest priority. The Mauryans attached greater importance to such assessment and storage one. Samharta was such highest officer of charge of this assessment and collection, and Sannidhata was chief custodian of that wealth that was collected. Therefore, it was named as store, right? Storehouse. Next, arrange the following dynasties of Magadha Empire in the order of precedence. In the order of precedence, you please follow them. Here Haryanka should come first. Next, exactly in the midst of 413 BC, by 413 BC, Haryanka dynasty existed. Shaishunaga between 413 BC to 345 BC, and Nanda dynasty 345 BC to 321 BC, and Mauryan dynasty 321 to 185 BC. Here it is important that Haryanka dynasty had come first, and next Shaishunaga Nanda dynasty. Nanda was dethroned by this Mauryan dynasty, Chandragupta Maurya. Okay. So, Milinda Banha next coming to contains the numerous illustrations from Jain legends. No, actually there was a conversation between a Buddhist monk and this Milinda Banha, Menander, he was also named as Menander, who was a great Greek king. Later he was influenced and converted to Buddhism by having a conversation with Nagasena, a Buddhist monk. Here deals with the code of conduct for Jain monks, now contains the fundamentals of Buddha's teachings. Yes, records the dialogue between the Indo-Greek ruler and Menander and the monk Nagasena, as the fourth statement D is correct one. Most famous Indo-Greek ruler was Menander. He is also known by the name Milinda, and he had his capital at Shakala, modern Sialkot in Punjab. Shakala was modern, Shakala is named after Sialkot in later times. The oldest name of this Sialkot was Shakala in the Punjab region, and invaded Ganga Yamuna Doab. Who invaded this Greek ruler? Menander. I told you that one of the greatest prominent kings of the Greek was Menander between 165-145 before Christ. And next Nagasena, who had this conversation, converted this Menander into Buddhism. By having this conversation, there were many philosophical discussions and conversations taken place there. Answers next were recorded in the form of book. This conversation was recorded in the form of book. It is named as Milinda Panha, Questions of Milinda or Menander. Consider the following statement with respect to Indo-Greek in ancient Indian history. They occupied a large part of northwestern India, much larger than that conquered by Alexander. Here, this is very important that the first one which was having huge occupation through annexation, that was associated with this Alexander and Seleucus Nicander, and the territory was named as Seleucid seems. They occupied a large part of this northwestern India, much larger than that of conquered by Alexander. They failed to establish united rule in India. Yes, because they were not united, they had lot of quarreling and disunity among themselves, and used to conquer one over others. That was also one such problem, which led them to fail to occupy entire northern part of India. Next, Menander ruled from Takshila as his capital. Here you need to remember two things, that Menander, the third statement is incorrect. Okay, they failed to establish united rule, second statement is correct one. And large part of northwestern India was also occupied by these Indo-Greeks after this Alexander's invasion. And one more thing, Greeks in the beginning of the 2nd century BC, the Indo-Greeks occupied as large part of this northwestern India, much larger than that of conquered Alexander. It is sad that they pushed, compared to Alexander, later Seleucus Nicator, who were having this marital relationship with Chandragupta Maurya, created this huge empire, and later many Indo-Greeks who came here and tried to invade this India, and they created a lot of wealth for their country as well, because 1/3 of the wealth generated from this Asian province only. As I have told you that Indo-Greek Demetrius or other people who came here and established their kingdom, at least they as per the records of these historians given in the old NCERT, they have had 1/3 of the GDP from this Asian province only in their country. Next, Greeks failed to establish this united rule because these dynasties ruled northwestern India on parallel lines at one and at the same time. The most famous Greek ruler was Menander. He is also known as name Meninda. Next, coming to various Buddhist scholars, who among the following were Buddhist scholars present in the court of Kanishka? Ashvaghosha, Buddhaghosha, Vashimitra. Choose the correct code here. Here I have displayed you all the Buddhist philosophers here. Ashvaghosha is the greatest Indian poet prior to Kalidasa, because he wrote many Buddhist texts in Sanskrit. He actually used to write. Classical Sanskrit was his highest priority, because during his main works are Buddha Charitra and Mahalankara and Saundara Kavyam, Saundarananda, that is also very important, details of the Nanda, and it was translated into many regional languages in Telugu also. Pingali, Katuri were very famous in translating that in Telugu actually in other regions. And Nagarjunacharya, he was named because various philosophies emerged out of it, and Mahayana Buddhism associated philosophy it is, and Madhyamika school was also invented by him, found by him, it was founded by him. Next, he was the contemporary of Shatavahana and King Gautamiputra. He was the contemporary king. He was born in Brahmin family, Nagarjuna Konda in modern Andhra Pradesh. He revived Sanskrit in Buddhist literature after the Pali Prakrit literature. Previously it had. Next, due to his birth in Brahmin family, later conversions in Buddhism, it can be justified that his early work was mostly contained in Sanskrit literature. Next, most important work is Moola Madhyamaka Karika, Moola Madhyama Karika. Next, which means fundamental verses on the middle way. His theory is also known as Shunyavad, emptiness. His theory is also known as Shunyavad, emptiness. Next, Asanga and Vasubandhu, they were famous. They both were half brothers and proponents of this Yogacara and Abhidhamma, that is one such Buddhist philosophy, and the ideals of Buddhism were discussed mostly in philosophical in the Abhidhamma Pitaka. I know, as you know that in that aspect only they had done lot of research. They were modern, actually they belong to this modern Peshawar region of the Pakistan and area. Most important work of this Vasubandha and was Abhidhamma, Abhidham Moksha. Okay, Abhidham Moksha, Abhidhar Moksha. That is the most important work of this Asanga and Vasubandhu. Next, Buddhaghosha. This is also important. Buddhaghosha lived 5th century AD and known to be one of the greatest Pali scholars in Buddhism. And his name means voice of Buddha. Buddhaghosha. Ghosa means the voice. Buddhaghosha. Next, important commentator of this Theravada Buddhism, which is orthodox Buddhist philosophy. Next, he is said to have gone to Sri Lanka from India's Magadha and settled in Anuradhapura. Most important work is Vishuddhi Magga. Vishuddhi Magga, that is the most important work. Vishuddhi means which is very purest, highly pure form of the Buddhist philosophy. That is, I have told you that orthodox sect which never allowed any impurities in the practices of the Buddhism. Therefore, the text written by him was also named as Vishuddhi Marga, Vishuddhi Magga by Buddhaghosha. That was voice of Buddha. Next, Dignaga or Dignaga. So, he is considered to be the founder of Buddhist logic. And next, Chandrakirti. He was a disciple of Nagarjuna and scholar at Nalanda University. Prasannapada is his main work, which means happy words or clear words. Next, Dharmakirti lived in 7th century, was primarily theorist of this Buddhist Sankhya. Okay. And in Nalanda University, he worked as a teacher. He written 7 treatises on valid cognition. They were called as Cant of India. He has been called as Cant of India. Next, which one of the following is the correct chronological order? invasions, order of the invasions of northwest India after the fall of Mauryas. I have told you various Indo-Greek kingdoms emerged after the decline of this Mauryan kingdom. This question was previously asked in the CDS exam in 2005. It is clearly told you that it had clearly told you that Bactrian, who came first time, that means Demetrius was the king and Apollodotus one next followed. Next one is Greeks, Parthians, Kushans and Hunas. You please remember this chronology, this is very important, that Bactrian, Greek, Parthians, Kushans and Hunas. Okay. Next, consider the following statements. All the Mahajanapada states were not monarchies, okay, and capital of Magadha was Rajgir, which was shifted to Pataliputra. Ujjain was a prominent city in Magadhan empire. No, Ujjain was one such rival empire against this Magadha, and it was a capital city of Avanti. Okay. So, the third statement is incorrect. Only two statements given above are correct. Next, these places were asked several times in UPSC 2014, and the same question more or less repeated after next year also in 2015. So, in which of the following places are associated with Buddha and in which Buddha visited actually? Consider the following pairs: Bimbisara, Mahapadma, Udayin. Here it is also very important that various rulers associated with these kingdoms in this Shodasa Mahajanapada times. Magadha's gradual rise to political supremacy began with Bimbisara, and according to this Ashwaghosha's Buddha Charita, already I have told you he is one of the famous Buddhist writer in Sanskrit. Next, Bimbisara belonged to Haryanka Kula. Haryanka Kula means a family. Next, history. Next, Udayin succeeded Ajatasattu, the son of the Bimbisara. Actually, this Ajatasattu was son of the Bimbisara. This Ajatasattu killed Bimbisara. And next, after Ajatasattu, Udayin succeeded. Udayin succeeded this Ajatasattu. This is the chronology: Bimbisara, Ajatasattu, Udayin, and belonged to the Haryanka dynasty automatically, because here it is mentioned that Buddha Charitra Bimbisara belonged to Haryankula as per the Buddha Charitra. Bimbisara belonged to Haryanka. So, Bimbisara's son Ajatasatru's son Udayin also belonged to Haryanka dynasty. Okay. Next, this pair given here is incorrect. Udayin given here is incorrect. And coming to this Mahapadmananda belonged to Nanda dynasty, Mahapadmananda, and there finally the suffix containing this Nanda itself is indication that they belong to that Nanda dynasty. Next, that captured Magadha from Shaishunaga. Next, the Puranas refer to Mahapadma as one who attained sole sovereignty, that is Ekarath. Next, and also as an uprooter of this Kshatriya. Next, this Bimbisara, Gautam Buddha, Milinda, Prasenajit were the terms given in the UPSC various times in previous times. In 2005, this is one such MCQ. Next, consider the following statements. Statement 1: Alexander and his soldiers who invaded Punjab did not dare to move eastwards. That is true statement. During that time, who was the king? It was not Mahapadmananda, it was Dandananda. The second statement is also correct, that Mahapadmananda maintained huge cavalry, maintained superior army and powerful army. During his time also Magadha kingdom became very powerful, Mahapadmananda. So, second statement can be right, and the first statement can be right, that Alexander did not dare to move towards the eastward. Okay, east. That means move to, they felt that this Magadha dynasty had huge cavalry and men and this huge superior army, and by the time they were extremely tired. So, they went back and they did not move towards east. That is also important. The first statement correct and second statement correct, but the second statement is not substantiating one to the first statement, because it is not a proper reasoning to the first statement, because Alexander, during that Alexander time, it was Dandananda, it was not Mahapadmananda. Therefore, Alexander might felt fear about this Dandananda's army more than that of this Mahapadmananda. That is also very important, because there is no relation between these two. If you want to establish relation, this is wrong fact with respect to establishment of the relation. When you take these statements, both are independent. Therefore, these independent statements themselves are correct itself with respect to their domain. Okay. Next, consider the following statements. Kharoshthi script was brought to India by the Macedonians. Kharoshthi script, and it was written from right to left like Arabic. Actually, this is Persian and my first statement is incorrect, and only statement 2 and 3 are correct here. Though Achaemenian rulers of Iran invaded India with an object of territorial expansion, it enhanced the Indo-Iranian trade and commerce. That is true. So, third statement is correct one. First statement is incorrect. Next, official script. This is Aramaic, which is an official script of the Persian Empire. Therefore, the first statement incorrect one. Here, with respect to scripts, in 1997 and several times later also, UPSC has asked ancient script, questions related to ancient scripts. Next, choose the incorrect statement from the following. Here again, this Udayini and Mahishmati were important towns of this Avanti kingdom, and Takshila was an important city in the northwest India. They are asking about incorrect one. And coming to this Brahmadeya, which is gifted to Brahmins, but not Brahmins gifted to the king. So, the statement 3 means C is incorrect one. You have to find the incorrect one. Other all are correct statements. Use of punch marked coins began this Mahajanapada times only. So, Avanti in Malwa region of central India divided into northern and southern provinces, and the two important towns of this kingdom named as Mahishmati and Ujjaini in north and south respectively. So, Ujjaini is modern Ujjain, and this modern Maheshwar is named was its ancient name was Mahishmati. So, there are references to Brahmana Gramas in Magadha kingdoms and Kosala as well, where Brahmanas were dominant landowners by that time, and Brahmadeya was the land gifted to them by the kings. Next, punch marked coins started during this period only, mostly made by silver and copper. They were made from silver and copper. And between which of the following was the ancient town of Takshila located? That is Indus-Valley. Yes, okay, one such previous year question I have been displaying you. Next, consider the following states. Nishka Shatamana, as I have told you that in ancient times they were named as coins, they were denoted as coins. Next, Anuloma, Pratiloma, they are related to marriages. And Sulva Sutra, this is very important, that the Buddhist period producing various texts, literature, sophisticated measurements, okay, dealing with sophisticated measurements, which presuppose writing and which may have helped in the demarcation of fields and houses. So, measurement related one. So, you please go through this Sulva Sutra idea also, very important. And this land distribution and inheritance rights of men and women, this is also very important, because UPSC has been asking these related questions as well. And Manusmriti, how it had told about the acquisition of the wealth and assets for various strata of society, various communities of the society, and gender also, gender related wealth distribution, those were the questions asked by UPSC. Next, consider the following statements with respect to the Buddhist period in history. Coins made of metal appear first in the age of Gautam Buddha. Coins made of metal appeared first in the age of Gautam Buddha. Is it true statement? Okay. Northern black polished ware was the dominant type of pottery during Buddhist times. Use of iron plowshare enabled the rapid expansion of agriculture in Ganga Valley. This period also saw the punch marked coins made of silver, copper. Already in the previous times, each of the statements was seen. Each statement already we have discussed here. Here all the statements are correct one. All, because this Kamsa, Pada, Masaka, Kakanika, these were references to the coins as per the Pali text. Next, archaeologically in the 5th century BC, it begins with the northern black polished ware. And next thing is agriculture tools of iron appeared in this time, northern black polished ware phase. And punch marked coins, and these were made up of what do you call? Say, made from silver and copper coins already. Next, consider the following statement with respect to the administrative system during Buddha's times. Bali Dakas. Bali was one such tax. Bali was tax collected by these Bali Dakas, who were the officers who collected this compulsory payment to chief from peasants. And Grama Bojaka was head of the village actually. They are not ministers. So, second statement is incorrect. and Bandagarika refers to the village headman who headed the rural administration. So, only once actually the Bandagarika refers to the village, no, actually village headman, this is given ulta. As well I already told you that village head was named as Gram Vochaka, here Bandagarika ministers performed various functions. Okay. The administrative machinery of the Shakyas and Lichavis was very simple. It consisted of Raja, Uparaja and Senapati, and next Bandagarika who was a treasurer and part of such council of ministers, very cabinet. Next, with reference to cultural history of India, consider the following pairs: Parivrajaka, Shramana, Upaska. These were the questions in 2020 UPSC prelims. Okay. Next, 2020 as well, they have asked about these paramitas. Okay. So, please go through these literature and texts in the ancient times and philosophies associated with this religious sects, right. Next, consider the following statements with respect to marriage inheritance during Buddhist times. Marriage inheritance during Buddhist times. Here, Sri Dhana refers to various kinds of mobile or immobile property given to a woman only during her marriage. Dharma Shastras permitted marriage between Sapinda relationship. Here, Sri Dhana refers to various kinds of mobile, immobile. It is actually incorrect one. Incorrect, because that this Sri Dhana is referring to only the movable property during marital procession given to a bride from relatives and also the parents and brothers. Okay. So, this Sri Dhana is acquisition of wealth for a woman which is gifted to her during marital processions from relatives and brothers and also the parents. Next, this is related to movable property, not immobile property. First statement is incorrect one. Next, Dharma Shastras permitted marriage between Sapinda relationship. Sapinda means the ancestral lineage may not be permitting any relationship within this domain. Okay. For example, the mother side, if there is any lineage of ancestral relationship for 3 generations, those ancestral relations may not allow you to marry within that family, within that ancestral lineage. Similarly, if there are any ancestral lineage existing before 5 generations from the side of the father, therefore, that lineage may not allow them to marry within this domain. Okay, this is what Sapinda relationship. So, Sapinda relationship was completely avoided among various sections of the society, all the communities including the Sudras, everybody was not allowed to follow the Sapinda relationship. So, this is about Sapinda relationships as per Dharma Shastra. Okay. So, these are the today's session, these are the questions related to today's session. Almost we have covered around 30 static questions and all MCQs associated with it were not conducted by UPSC in previously, and CSAT questions are already uploaded by 3 o'clock today. By 3 p.m. every day you will be seeing those CSAT questions, and here our live explanation will be recorded and uploaded to you by evening, and these are free for 4 days. And next thing is very important, that after 4 days these will be available in the app for our students. Okay, thank you.